Hi guys, Scott Ward here. I've been working on this for a couple of days now and I've eventually got this working, I think. So I thought I'd share with the community and hopefully this will be useful for someone. So what I wanted to do was allow the player to start the adventure walking into a tavern or some place and be able to choose his party, basically from the companions. So as you can see here, I've created a fighter, a ranger, a rogue and a wizard. And here's our player character who's just started the game. So what I can do now is walk up to any of these guys. Let's pick the fighter, and I get the option of either inviting him to join the party or leave him alone. So I'll leave him alone for the moment. Let's go look at the ranger, and we'll add the ranger to our party. As you can see now, the ranger has joined the party, and we can go to any of these guys and recruit them like so. And I'll recruit this one as well, the wizard. Now, this will go up to a maximum. So as you can see, the maximum party size has been reached, and we can set this value. At the moment, I've set it for 4. So when I now try and recruit the fighter, looks like you have a full complement of companions. Good luck. There we go. So what I can do then is talk to one of my existing party members. Let's say I don't really want the rogue, and I can dismiss them. And she has now left the party. So now the party is down to 3, which means if I want to, you've changed your mind, yep, I can recruit the fighter, and I should now reach the party maximum size. And there we are. Not bad, good. It means you could offer people in a bar or a tavern for your adventurer to recruit, and then they can go off and do their quest. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let's show you how I did the companion party management. I'm going to start from an absolute blank level and do everything from scratch because then I won't miss anything out. So this is a very simple basic level. In fact, it's an empty level with a simple AI seeder, one start point, and that's our dummy. There is nothing else in it. So the first thing we need to do is on the start point we've got, this needs to be made global. And let's give it a name that we're going to recognize, start point. Okay, big letters. We now need to go get the character creation template from Larian's website, and you can get it from here, docs.larian.com game, character creation template. That's it. If you're not sure where it's hiding, it is under Larian Guides, My First Adventure, character creation template. There it is. And you download this one. Make sure you get the one that's current. It's the 9th of October. If you get stuck, go and check out Windermere's great series of tutorials that he's doing. I believe he covers it here, but I'm just going to cover it again. Otherwise, this isn't going to work as expected. Download this, and inside you'll find a text file called charactercreation.txt. That looks like this, which I've got here. Right, what we need to now do is to get this into the story editor. So let's fire up the story editor. And remember that start point there, because we're going to need that later. So I'm going to create not a file new. I am going to not that. I want to create a new. That's it. Add new item. We can call it that. Character creation. There we go. And we should have a new module here, character creation. Init, KB, and exit. So if we look at that file that we got, you need to cut and paste the relevant bits in. So this is the, oh, got that wrong. This top bit here is the init section. Paste that in there. And the rest of this stuff here, I did mark it. And it is documented in the file. You'll see what the sections are. this needs to go into the KB section. There's a few changes we need to make in the init section. Basically what happens is your dummy is teleported to sys character creation A level. You select your character and whatever you want to be, and then you are teleported back to this level, the start level. So this needs to be set for the name of the level that we're currently editing with the start point. It's called tutorials in my case. And that needs to go in there as well. And then you also need to specify the start point that you're going to teleport them onto. So if we take the trigger GUID ID that was currently there, we start typing in, I think it was DA tart, like that. And if you hit Control Space, it will find it, and it's that one in the big capital letters. If you remember, we renamed it here, start point. Select that and save that file. That's all you need to do to get character creation working. What we'll do here is we'll just generate definitions, build and reload, and check that it all compiles. It looks good. If you get an OK, we're good to go. Okay, so we now have basic character creation working. So what will happen now if we run this level, you will be dumped into to create a character, select all your details, and then your character will be teleported to this start point. So this would be in your tavern. I'm not going to go into how to make all the scenery. Check out Caden the Stoic's doing an absolutely fantastic series on how to make things look absolutely beautiful, and he's much more creative than I am. So check those out. So what we need to do is to create, let's create a party of, we're going to create 4 potential people who you can hire, but I'm going to limit it to have a maximum party size of 4, which will mean you're going to have to leave one of them behind. So we do this with the root templates. So what we'll do is I'm going to create the standard fighter, ranger, rogue, and a wizard. And what we'll do here is we need to find a simple root template to use. Now I use, if you go and type in human there, I'm going to use human female armor for all of these, right? So we're going to have 4 female companions you can choose from. The best way to do this is to create, I'm going to create a root template for each of my companions I want the party member to be able to hire. So let's just copy it. So we're going to do create new from selected, okay? And then what I'm going to call it here is companion underscore fighter. So she's going to be the fighter. Display, you don't need to mess around with the display name, don't worry too much about that, but I would set the equipment class to be a female human. You need to set this because when the character picks up things like armors and swords and hats and clothing and stuff, it knows what sort of itinerary to use to decorate this root template. If you pick human male, it will start putting all the male stuff onto the human female shell effectively. That's what I believe happens. So this needs to be set for human female. Okay, let's create that one. Okay, now what we'll do is create another one. I'm going to do human female armor, and I'm going to create new from selected. And same again, companion wizard. Do. And again, the equipment class needs to be set for human female. Create. Let's keep going. Get the idea how this is working. Oh, companion underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female. If you forget to change this, you can edit the root template afterwards, but it needs to be human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger. Let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger. Let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this root template. And the last one, let's have a ranger underscore rogue. Change that to be a human female for this this human female. Great. Okay, so if we now select our little spanner here, you can see we've got a fighter, wizard, rogue, ranger as a root template. Excellent. So let's start dropping these onto our map. So we'll take the fighter first, and we'll figure that one out. So just drop her in. Okay, what we'll do here is that we need to set some things up, but what I'll do first is make sure she looks okay. That'll do. That's fine. She looks like a fighter. Otherwise, we won't know which one's which. They're all going to look the same. So we have our female fighter. Now there's a few changes we need to do. Let's give her a name, display name. I'm going to call her fighter. There we go. So we know she's human female equipment class because we set that in the root template. You need to check this box to make her global. If you don't do this, she will not be able to move off of the level. So as she follows the party member around, she's basically going to be locked into this level. So she needs to be global. You can give her a sensible name rather than companion fighter. So we'll just call her fighter there. Let's call it companion _ fighter. I like to make these names different because then you can spot them in the game when you do it. So companion fighter. Right, what else do we need to set? Default dialogue. We're going to do some dialogue with her, but we'll come back to that in a minute. What else do we need to set here? So equipment is what we also need. Let's do level override. So I'm going to set her to be level 1, which is as the player comes into the tavern, he'll be level 1. So you can set that to whatever your level dungeon you want, what you're creating, but I'll set that to be 1. And the other bit I need here is the equipment. Here we are. So at the moment, this character is set for using a generic brute melee sword. So they'll have maces, clubs, and stuff like that. What I'll do there is to give her some useful stuff. She will be set for class, fighter, human. So she'll get a random array of fighter type stuff. Okay, so there we go. We have our fighter. Right, let's move on. We'll do our wizard next. We'll put the wizard there. Right, first thing, let's set her up. So this will be wizard. Check the global box. Companion _ wizard. Default dialogue we'll come back to. Change the equipment. So we don't really want a wizard with a brute sword. So we'll go up to class, wizard, class, wizard, human. That'll do. Yep. So that's what I wanted. Level override will be set for 1. And global, I think we're all good. That's all we need there. Let's just check and compare those two. Looks good to me. I'll tell you what else we'll do. We'll go into the visual set indices, and I don't know. I just need to make a look like a wizard. Must be one of those somewhere. Oh, not really. No. That'll do. That'll do. That's wizardy, and we'll save that. So we have our wizard. There we go. Right, who are we going to put in next? Let's put the rogue in, drop her in there. Okay, so up here, this will be, display name will be rogue, human female, companion rogue. Oh, hang on, no, I'm editing the root template. You have to click on the, make sure you clicked on the individual. So rogue, that's right, companion rogue 000. That's fine. Let's make her look at, oh, global flag must be checked. Right, let's make her look a bit like a rogue. That'll do. Anyone with a hood's a rogue in my book. Current level override of 1. Default dialogue would do, and she's going to need equipment of a class rogue human. That'll do. Level override of 1. There we go. That's it. I think that's right. Let's just compare. What have I missed? display name of rogue. Yep, that's fine. I actually edited the root template, which is why that green doesn't work, but it'll still work. That's fine. Wizard. What did I miss? That's fine. Okay. We'll find out if it doesn't work. So let's put the ranger in. Select the ranger this time. Display name is ranger. Equipment class human female. Global. Set that to be the name of ranger. Default dialog, we'll do that in a minute. Change the default weapon that this person has to a class ranger human. That'll do. Level override of 1, so she's level 1. Let's compare these two. What did I miss? Nope, that looks good. And they're all global. Yeah. Okay, so we have our NPCs on our map. We've got them all with their flags set correctly. We've got the fighter, the wizard, the rogue, and the ranger. So what we need to do now is allow the player to interact them. And we're going to do that using the dialogue editor. And we're going to set some flags here so we can pick up on them when these characters join or leave the party. So we fire up the dialogue editor and we'll create one of these. Let's do the fighter first. Now you're going to create 4 dialogues, obviously one for each NPC, but they're pretty much going to have the same format, and you're going to basically duplicate them. So let's create the first. Actually, let's first of all, we need to choose who's in this dialogue. So let's add the fighter there, and we will also add the players group underscore players. That will treat all the players as one unit. Okay, now we're going to create our first node, which is a greeting, and let's make this under the logical greeting name. This is has not met. So this greeting will be for when the first time that the party talks to them. So what are they going to say? Let's say greetings. I am a fighter. There we go. And we're going to need some flags. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a flag called has met. It's an arbitrary flag. It just basically denotes whether we have met the fighter before or not. So if we click on here and edit these flags, and this is flags to check. Just pull that back out for you. Flags to check and flags to set. So we're going to check to see if there's a character flag called has met, and if they, and it won't be on the players, it will be on the fighter. So if they have not met the fighter, then we're going to display this flag, this node, sorry, greetings, I'm a fighter. So after they have met the fighter the first time and we've shown this node, we need to set the flag to say they have met them. So if we go to character has met, and we set that on the fighter, and we check the flag they have met. So greetings, I'm a fighter. So what are the options off the back of these? Well, we're going to have 2 options. Let's create 2 questions. One will be a fighter. I can't spell. Great. Join me. And the other option will be make an excuse. Take your leave. There we go. And if they take the leave, that's going to be an end node. So we'll finish the conversation there. Now, if they're going to join, the NPC will answer and say, great, I am in. Join your party. Great, I'm in and will join your party. And that will be an end node because we finished the conversation, and we need to set the fact that the NPC has now joined the party. So we will set a flag and we will call it character flag. It'll be called in party. And that will be set to true, like that. So they are now in the party. So let's say they have come through this conversation and decided to make their excuse and take your leave. Well, they may well talk to them again. So rather than say, greetings, I'm a fighter again, what we can do is we can add another greeting node. Let's do that. And we'll label this one has met before. That'll do. And they'll say something along the lines of back again. Do you need me to need someone with my skills? Something like that. And we only want to show that if we're going to check some flags. So have they met them before? And are they in the party? So let's say they have met them before and they are not in the party. Then we'll show this again. Now there's another flag we need to check, and we don't want to show this if the party has already reached its maximum size. So we will check another flag, and this one will be a global flag, and let's call it general flag. It's a global flag, so max player count reached. So if the max player count has not been reached and they've met them before and they're not in the party, then we'll show this flag. Now, what we would normally do is create two more questions here and repeat these, but what we can do is if we move this up here, we can just relink these across to those two answers. So we'll come in, greetings, I'm a fighter. If you take your leave, we will set the flags here that they have met. When we come back in again here, we'll do the checks to see if we've met them before, and we'll say back again, and you'll get these two options, and they have the option to join as well. Okay, so let's do a check now. Let's assume that they are already in the party. Oops, not like that. So we want another greeting. And we'll call this one is in party. And we'll say, hello, how am I doing? Okay, and there will be two answers from this. And we need to check some flags actually on this one. We need to make sure that they are character is in the party. Set that on the fighter. Just check. So are they in the party? So if they're in the party, then we're going to show this one. Just check I got that in the right place. Right, got those flags wrong. They need to be set on the fighter itself. Let's check that flag, fighter, fighter. That one is wrong. That needs to be set on the fighter as well. Let's get these right. There we go. And I'm just checking them all. Yep, looks good. So are they in the party? So if they're in the party, there'll be two responses. Question. One will be all good. Carry on. And the NPC will reply with an answer saying, I don't know, great, lead the way. There we go, and that will be an end node. So the other option will be, you are not up to scratch, please leave. So we're going to dismiss them from the party. And there will be an answer to that saying, good luck, see ya again. Because you're going to get the option to rehire them if you want to. So let's set that as an end node. And at this point, we're going to have to set some flags because they have effectively left the party. So we will set in party for the fighter to be off. There we go. So they are now out of the party. The last one we need to do, let's do another greeting here. And this will be if the party is full. Can't talk. You have a full party. And this will be true, and that's an end node as well, because that will be a simple end to that conversation. And the flags we're going to check there, we're going to display that if the maximum party count has been reached. And we also need to only display that if the fighter is not in the party. So it's character in party is not in the party. There we go. So this should run the conversation. Just checking that these are all in the right. Fighter, fighter, fighter looks good. Nothing to set on that. Fighter and fighter. So let's save that. And that will be fighter underscore dialog. There we go. Save that. And we can close that editor. Now what we'll do now is we will assign that dialog as default to the fighter. There we go. Let's take that file, save all. Let's do a reload story and level. There we go. And we can see now, back again. Great, join me. There we go. I'm not up to scratch, please leave. And there we go. So you've got your dialogue working now. Make an excuse, please leave. Join me in the party. How am I doing? All good, carry on. Great, lead the way. All good, you're not up to scratch, please leave. All good, there we go. And then you've got the option to rehire him again. Back again, do you need some of the skills? Yes or no? Now, you can see that's all working. That's setting the right tags, but of course nothing is actually happening. They're not joining the party or anything is operating on those tags. So what we're going to need to do is duplicate that dialogue for each of the other three NPCs and set the appropriate flags for each of them. Remember to keep the global one global across the whole party. The others are can be set for each individual one. Okay, I've duplicated the dialogue and I've assigned them to the characters. Let me just show you what I did. So I opened up the fighter one and saved it for the ranger. Save as ranger.dialog. And the changes you need to make is make sure to remember to change the speaker. So the speaker is the ranger and the groups. And the other thing you're going to need to do is make sure that the flags are set. So here's the ranger's flags. Yep, that's correct. That's that one. Yep, ranger. And let's just open another one. Let's open the wizard. As you can see here, I've set the wizard and the group as the players, and all the flags are setting hazmat for the wizard this time. The bit you have to remember is the global flag stays the same. That's always a global flag for the generic general max player count reached. Great. So there we go. If we try it out, oh, and I forgot to say, is you can now add the default dialogue for each of these characters to assign the dialogues that you've duplicated, rogue and the ranger. Let's try it out. We can chat to the fighter, make an excuse. We can chat to the wizard, yeah. We can chat to the rogue, it's fine. If we go back to the rogue, hey, you're back again, yeah, we'll hire you. Let's hire the wizard. And if we now talk to the rogue again, we have the option to carry on. Great, lead the way, or we can dismiss them. They're out of the party. Now, if I chat to them again, you're back again, yeah, we can hire them. So the problem we have is this is great, but what I can do here is I can actually hire everybody, and they aren't actually joining the party, although we're setting all the flags. So now I'm going to show you the logic behind it, of how we actually make all the clever stuff happen. Okay, so we have our NPCs, we have the dialogues all set up, we have the flags are now being set, so we need to do the logic behind that to make actually things work in the game. I'm also going to, okay, so let's open up the story editor, because this is where we do all this stuff. And here we are. So the other thing I'm going to add in here is the character creation module, which was released by Larian on the 9th of October. I need this because there's some weirdness that happens when you're working with a dummy, and it's not really a player. So what I'm going to do is build the character creation in, and that will set the correct number of players. It's not too complicated. You just need to go across to the Divinity website, go to Larian Guides, My First Adventure, and the bit you need is the character creation template. Download the latest one, character creation template.zip, and extract that out. Inside you will find a file which is called character creation.txt. So under start, we have here, we're going to add a new sub item. Let's call it character creation. There we go. And in your text document, which you've just downloaded, which I have here, you just need to cut and paste in the relevant sections. So this is the init section. And this is the KB section. Cut all that in. There's a few changes we need to make. You need to set the level that you're using. So our level is called tutorials. That's what I named it. This basically what happens is during character creation, your dummy is teleported to this level. Character creation takes place, and then it is put back on the level you specify here. So we're going to teleport them into tutorials. The other thing you need to set is the GUID start point. So you need to have that set. So make sure you've got that there as a global, otherwise it's not going to work. This is the start point that you set globally here. So I can show you how to find that. Just delete this out. If you start typing the name of that start point you created as global, it should show up. There it is. Good. Save that. Make sure it builds and compiles. And you now have character creation working. So let's create another sub item for the bits we're going to use. Okay, so we're going to call this, it's global, and we're going to call it party management. Global party management. There we go. Oh, that went in the wrong place. I want that underneath start. You can just move it. There we go. Global party management blank. There we go. Okay, so we're going to need to start writing some code here. And the first thing we're going to set is the maximum size of the party. And we initiate a variable here. Well, it's a fact actually. db underscore, I'm going to call it Scott World. You can call it whatever you like. Max party size. And I'm going to set that for 4. That's all we need to initialize. I believe you need a semicolon on the end of that, or it's not going to work. So next we're going to do is write a procedure. I'm going to comment this for you. Procedure to add an NPC to the party. So we write a procedure proc, and we'll call it proc underscore add player to party, and we need to pass it one variable, which will be the character GUID of whatever character we're going to add. I'm going to call it char character. There we go. That's what we're going to pass into that. Add player to party. I like a capital P. That's better. Procedure add player to party. That looks better. Right. The other thing I want is I need to get the display name of whoever this is. So, if we pass in the fighter, I'd like to pull out the display name of fighter so I can use it later for a displayed message. So I'm going to do character get display name. That's the one I wanted. Character get display name of underscore char. And I would also like to create the fancy message that I'm going to pop up. So I'm going to concatenate some strings. So I'm going to use string concatenate, and I'm going to pass in the name of actually I haven't got that yet. I didn't get out of here. This requires more variables. Let's just get this right. 3 variables, so we'll do char. Don't need the second variable, but I'm going to write out display name as underscore name. That should do it. Then I'm going to string concatenate the name that I've got. That'll be the display name. In this case, it will be fighter or rogue or whatever. But if you call your characters names, that will come out nicely as well. And then I will say has joined the party. And after I've merged those 2 strings together, I will write them out as message for display. That's what I'm going to put up on the screen. So let's actually, if all those are, we've got all our information, we've got everything set up, now let's do it. So we're going to first set a fact that db is player. So I'm going to write out into the table db is player. I'm going to make a note that underscore char is now a player by setting that fact. That's so I can count him later when I work out how many people are in the party. Then we issue the command character make player. That's the one I want. Character make player, and we're going to make underscore char a player. Pass that in, and then we'll show the notification to the on the screen to say so and so has joined the party, and that's under message for display. There we go. That's the procedure I think is done to put someone in the party. Let's just have a save and build that. And we've got an error. So what's wrong here? Character made player. That's probably wrong. It's probably character make player. So yeah, got that wrong. Sorry. Typo on my behalf. Let's rebuild it. Excellent. Right, now I want to remove a player from the party. So let's just copy this procedure and come down here. It's going to be very similar. So procedure to remove remove player from party. And we're going to call it procedure. Let's call it procedure remove player from party. And we're going to pass in again a character GUID, so it will remove this player. We will need to get the display name again for our message. We will concatenate a string, leave that the same, but instead of has joined, we'll say has left the party. Now, instead of adding an entry to the table, we now need to type not db player, which will remove the entry from the table. And instead of character make player, we use the command character make. I think we need to make them an NPC. Character make NPC, and we also need to remove them from the party. Otherwise, if we don't make them an NPC and remove them, they will still be left. They will be removed from my party, but they will still effectively be a player wandering around on their own. We don't really want that. So character makes an NPC and character remove from party, and we're going to do that with that as well. And then we will show the message for display that so and so has left the party. There we go. So there's our procedure. Procedure to remove player from party. Excellent. Right, let's just save that and just check it works. No errors. Lovely. Right, now we need to do some checks. So we need to keep tabs of every time a player joins the party, we need to make sure that the party limit hasn't busted. And we also need to do a check to make sure that when a player is removed from the party, we keep tabs that someone's left. So we're going to write two more functions here. So it's actually an event. So if a character joins the party, and whoever joins, we need to know, we'll get that information there in underscore char. So when underscore char joins, and then we need to work out how many people are already in the party, and we do that with a syscount. So we go, I'll just type this and then explain it. db underscore is player. Let's do is player. We need column 1, and we need to write that out as player count. Let's just write that out like that. Right, so this line says, can you go and have a look at the table db is player, look at the information in column 1, and I want you to count the number of entries that have been put in there and return them as underscore player count. So basically we're going to whiz through our table that we've got, the is player table, and return how many players we currently have in the party. Now we need something to compare that with, so we'll compare that with the maximum party size. And db maximum party size, we will query that and write that out as player max, which in this case is going to be 4. It's set there. And we probably need to do a comparison of those two, so we will do if player count is equal to player max, i.e. you have just hit the limit of the number of players in the party, then we will show a notification, and this is really more for debugging purposes, max party size met. You can remove that, there's no need, you don't need to tell them, but I'll put that in for the moment. And you need to now set the flag which stops anyone in the dialog from hiring more people. So we set that global flag, and if you remember, that was called gen underscore max player count reached, if I remember correctly. That will be in your dialog. Okay, there we go. So there is an event which will set the gen max player count reached when all of this stuff is met. So we need to unset that flag when when the number of party members gets below the max party. So we'll have another one of these, if, and it's going to be very similar. It's going to be if character character has left the party. There we go. We shall get who that is. That will be underscore character. And similar thing here. Let's just make this space. You're debugging. So if character has joined the party, character left the party, and syscount, let's go get the number of people in the party again, and let's get the maximum number of people we've allowed, and we need to do our comparison, and this time instead of equaling, it needs to be less than player max. So if we drop below the maximum party level, then all we're going to do is get rid of this flag. So instead of global, let's cut it in, this will be the setting the flag. And now we're going to global, I believe it is global clear. Global clear flag, that's what you want. Global clear the flag, there we go. We could put a notification to say that someone, the flag has been unset, but don't need to put that on the screen. Let's just save that. Let's do a generate definitions build and reload. Looks good to me. Excellent. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to set fire off these procedures that we wrote earlier right at the top. Remember these two procedures? We need to fire them off every time one of those dialog flags it gets set for is party or has left the party, well, is not set. So if we ever see the object flag set, so if an object flag is set, if we ever see it for in party, so someone has had their in party flag ticked basically, Don't need the speaker, but I do need the dialogue instance, which is that one. Because what I'm going to then do is I can, with this command here, I can dialog get involved NPC. So this is the person who's involved, and it wants to know, because I've got the dialogue out here, which instance of the dialogue. So let's get the NPC who was involved in this dialogue that we were talking about. And we need to then write out his GUID details into a value of NPC. So let's get the details of who we were talking to, be it the fighter, the ranger, or whoever. We'll write that out into NPC. And then, because their flag has been set, we will run the procedure add player to party, and we will do that with character. Oh, we need the character GUID for underscore NPC. That's the person we were talking to. Bosh, that should work. Let's just save that. Build the definitions and reload. Excellent. So that's if the flag is set. Now we want to do something slightly different if they leave. And we can, let's cut and paste this because it's going to be similar. Some subtle differences when they leave. So if the object flag is not set and that is cleared, if object flag is cleared in party, you can get the dialogue. And it's not involved NPC, it's involved player, because if you remember, they are now flagged as a player. So this is when you're talking to them as a player. And we can, let's be consistent and change that to be a player. And then instead of player add to party, we call our procedure we wrote, which is procedure. No, what did I call it? Player. No, what did I call the procedure to remove people? Player, remove player from party. So procedure remove player from party. It won't be NPC we pass in, we're going to pass in player. And that should be it. Save that. Build and reload. Let's make sure it all builds. Excellent. And I believe that is all we need. Let's come out the editor and just save everything. I will now fire up the game. Now, I have seen the dialogue flags go a little bit funny when you test in the editor, so I tried it out in the game and it works. So there is some bugs with some of the flags still inside the editor, but it seems to work in the game fine. Let's have a look. Story, we'll pick our tutorial. So it should drop us into character creation to let us choose to create the first player. Whatever, I'm going to be a human, whatever, there we go. And there we are, there's our human there with our 4 characters. Let's talk to the fighter. We'll leave him alone for the moment. Wizard. Yep. If I come back to the fighter, it should say, welcome back. Yes. Okay, let's join him. He's joined the party. Let's try the wizard. You're back, yep. And if I talk to this one, I'll join them straight away, and I should hit party max now. Should fire. Maximum size reached. So if I now try and talk to the rogue, can't talk, looks like you have a full group. There we go. So now we should be able to dismiss people. So let's get rid of the ranger. So the ranger has left the party. And that should have now uncleared the flag for the maximum party size, which means I can now replace them with the rogue. Looks good. Now we can dismiss them all if we want to. Our maximum party size has been reached. Yep. There is a slight delay there as well, so you might want to spread these people out and not have them all standing right next to each other. Otherwise, you might be able to jump the flag firing. So let's get rid of everybody. Rogue, leave. Yep. And we're back to where we were. Excellent. I hope that helps. It is a bit hard to go through it. A little bit complicated with some of the procedures and stuff, and there's some quirks with the way the some of the dialogue works in the editor. But I hope that's useful for you. Now you can create your party, create your companions, and then you can manage them as you go through your adventure. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.